What's up, everyone? This is DYANAROZAY. Welcome to my channel. You are here for the official review of Love and Marriage Huntsville. This is season 6b, episode 17, and it was called So Ladylike, which is like a double entendre. Y'all know they are basically calling out Marceau's manhood. This may be the theme for the whole season, because in the first episode for this season, it was Courtney who said, "You are always in the women's business." And then he completely punked Marceau at the end and told him he'll never get $100 out of him, and then ended up giving or tipping his waitress for a glass of water the $100 that Marceau had asked him for. And then in this episode, almost all the ladies had something to say about Marceau being over the top and way too much. Kimmy is still out here basically saying that Marceau is scamming. Okay, she's like, y'all, we're gonna have to keep an eye on Marceau in his pockets because he seemed like he is taking a whole lot from people. Stormy actually called him a BAN. She said she don't deal with dudes that act like BIs. Okay, she said so. That was Marceau, and then Melody loses her entire religion, which is probably the whole so ladylike, saying that Melody was maybe not so ladylike, because she was cursing and everything when she found out some things that Marceau had to say about her. But anyway, the person who make up these titles is an absolute genius, you guys. Yeah, I told y'all that last week, right? Anywho, I am on today with my sister, who we don't see her name here, but this is my sister. We share the same mama, same daddy, and I call her Clone. The family calls her Clone. Anyway, she is going to be on with me. She didn't want to be on camera, but she's going to be on with me today to talk about the show. Say hi, Clone.
Hey, hey, hey.
So she's going to be on with me to talk about the show. So anywho, you guys, well, first let me ask you, Clone, uh,
Mhm.
what was your thoughts about this episode? What do you rate it? I give a rating of 1 through 10 for every episode.
Okay. I'm gonna go in at an 8.5.
8.5. Okay. I
Mhm.
give it a solid 8. And I actually wanted to drop it like a point or two because of a fakety fake scene that happened in here. We'll talk about it because you and I have already discussed some of it. And also, what is your feelings about Love and Marriage Huntsville? Just because people probably know that I'm a super fan, but what is your feelings about the show?
I'm not a super fan. I am not a super fan. One, I'm really not a super fan of anything that's reality TV, to be honest. I'm watching the show really just because of you. You're the only one that really prompts me to watch the show. If it wasn't because of you, I probably wouldn't watch it. I do feel that this is probably one of those reality shows that's had the most realistic scenes with all of the things that was going on between Mel and um, her ex, and the rest of the Peanut Gallery cast,
Hmm.
and how everything played out on the show. It's probably been the most realistic for me, but reality TV for me just doesn't work.
Doesn't work. Okay, child. Anyway, you're going to review this episode with me. You're going to give your honest opinions about everything. So here we go. Okay, you ready?
I'm ready.
You're ready. Okay, so the scene starts exactly where it left off. And first, let me say this too. The reason why I asked Clone to join me on this interview is because it was so much information. Y'all know I like to give thorough reviews, but there was so much information that I did not want to miss anything. And I didn't want to seem like I was just going on and on and on. So it is much better for the audience to, hear interaction. And so that is what I'm doing. So I'm going to have this interaction with my sister, and then you guys can talk to me in the comments. And I will probably also do a live. I know a lot of you would like to come up and talk about things. So, based on how people comment, we're definitely going to probably move this over to a live. But outside of that, we're going to talk about this first scene. Okay. Melody opens up telling Kiki that y'all see her first off with that push through t shirt. That's Melody's t-shirt business. Marceau had some things to say about that business in the episode later, so we'll get to it. But it is prominently displayed on the couch there. But she's letting her friend Kiki know that she's bringing her that t-shirt to support her, and that if there's anything that she needs, to give her a call because she thinks she's going through some things. She was like, The number of people that called her, this is what Melody is saying. I know that if I'm getting calls, you got to be getting a whole bunch of stuff. I've been getting calls out the yayo about what you being in that Crime Stopper video. Is it true? All these things. And then she lets her know that her nemesis, Tiffany, the one who released that Crime Stopper video to the bloggers, she said, even Tiffany has come to me and said that she believes you are ruining her brand, that it's possible you could be ruining her brand and the rest of the brand on the show. And when she says that, there is a look that washes over Kiki's face. Like, she literally is like, is this bitch serious? You can tell, like, she would have fought Tiffany if Tiffany was sitting in front of her. But she's sitting there and she's giving Mel this slow nod, like, okay, okay. And she's listening, but her mind is somewhere else. You can tell she's thinking other thoughts. When
Mhm.
Melody finishes what she had to say, she said, was I accused or convicted? And Mel was like, okay, accused. And she went, okay. And then Melody said, but was it you in the picture? And she said, I can't confirm or deny. My lawyer told me I can't confirm or deny. But if you're letting the audience know that you have a lawyer, then you've confirmed.
Well,
No?
yeah, I mean, but didn't she also, she already confirmed that it was her in the video when it first happened. I mean, I know that this is, this is taped, and so
It's
this happened, weeks or months ago or whenever it was actually
right,
filmed. But
for
when
sure.
this all happened, she went on social media and confirmed that it was her in the video.
She did.
So we already know that it's
I
her in
took
the
the
video.
biggest payday of my life. That's what she wrote.
Right.
Oh,
Yeah.
for sure.
But I guess my question would be, with everything else that has gone on this show,
Uh-huh.
how has nothing else ruined their brand? Like, I feel like if something's going to ruin their brands, it would have happened by now.
Facts. Yeah, you asking all the right questions. That's the same thing I said. I was like, well, damn, you've been on this show for what, 2, 3 seasons now? If your brand was going to be ruined, it would have happened already. You would have
Yeah.
ruined your own brand when you came out of pocket last season and said, "Is Sheree's poo poo or poom poom or whatever the fuck was is so good that she thinks that Martell isn't going to cheat." You would have ruined your
Yeah.
own brand with that one, right? Um,
Right.
but anywho, she ends up saying that to Melody. Melody brings it up to Kiki. And Kiki says she has not been convicted of any damn thing. She said that she did have a lawyer though, and that in confessional, she says, yeah, basically bow down bitches. She said, when I am vindicated from this case, she expects Tiffany and whoever else questioned her innocence to go on ahead and kiss it. That's what she said. So anyway, she ends up saying to Miss Melody Cherie, she said, listen, you were one of the first people to call me after that video had been released. And, everybody in Huntsville who had that information first. Huntsville was rocked already with the information about Kiki prior to the internet. It was Tiffany. Again, it was Tiffany who brought it to social media.
Hmm.
What you got going on? But then after that, Mel said, she was kind of shocked, and she said, Tisha was the last to call me. Kiki said, Tisha was the last to call me. And then that's when Melody tried to give Tisha some grace. Even though Tisha had said Melody has a dark soul, Melody said, at the end of the day, Kiki, you and Tisha are still trying to work out this relationship, this cousinship between the two of you. And she was like, now, when things was going on out there in the public about Tisha's mama and Tisha's husband, were you calling her and saying, hey, girl? And yeah, Kiki said, I would never say anything about her husband, which is interesting because we know that in these coming episodes, she's gonna have plenty to say about Tisha's husband, child. So I think they wanted to make sure they got that scene in there because she said, I don't talk about Tisha's husband at all, at all. And I was like, well, damn,
Well,
you were
she didn't at that point. You know what I mean?
well, yeah, I was gonna say, we're gonna see a before and after. We're gonna see a before and after with Kiki because she said,
Listen, she can't tell you what tomorrow's going to bring, but she can she can tell you what she did today.
talk about it. Listen, I was like, this girl is really, she's cracking me up. But after she goes through all that, Melody just said, listen, give that girl some grace. You need some grace too. And by the way, Tiffany is having a baby reveal for the very first time. We're going to get to see what baby Ace look like. So you should definitely come. She said she was going to invite you. It's going to be only the ladies. Okay. So you don't have to worry about any of that other nonsense. Because Marceau she does not like Marceau at all. So she said
Hmm.
it's only going to be the ladies. You don't have to worry about Marceau being in the women's business, getting in Tisha's ear while you are there. And Kiki said, you know what? I do need some downtime. I do need some girl time. I'll think about it. And that's basically how the scene ends, child. Do you have any extra comments? Did I leave something out?
No, I would say that was the biggest part of the scene. You're good.
What's the short and skinny of it? Yes.
Hmm.
Yeah, it was just basically a way to get that information out there, because everybody is talking about it, and I guess they want to make sure that people know that the producers are paying attention and they want to get the scene out there. Now, when I told y'all earlier that there was going to be a fakety fake ass scene, this is it. Tisha and Marceau, baby. When I say these two should be a part of a Hoodie Perry movie, they are to be qualified all day. Tisha and Marceau gives to be quality scenes every single time. Would you agree?
Yes. And I got to be honest with you. I know that this scene ticked you off. I'm here for it. I, I actually had to rewind it because I was like, wait a minute. What am I watching here? What are these two doing? I loved it.
Did you? What
I did. I loved watching these two make complete idiots of themselves.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
I was going to say, do you like watching them act? Because you can tell that Tisha and Marceau, they might even have a damn acting coach. They sit in
Listen.
front of mirrors and they practice facial expressions, the whole nine.
Yeah, those two have a pact. And
Yeah.
they are not breaking that pact. And I am down for it. I'm going to tell you, I appreciate everything about it because as fake as it was, and it was,
Fake, fake,
whew,
fake.
oh my gosh, the imposters. I the way that they walked in first and foremost,
Yeah.
when I watched the scene, and this is why I had to rewind it, I
What?
was like, are these two, have they not seen each other in about a year? Because you're walking in and you're asking questions, and shame on the producers for even letting it go down this way. I
Ooh.
don't know whose idea it was to have those two walk into a room and basically pretend like they haven't seen each other in 55 years. And maybe they haven't. Maybe they haven't.
Mm-hmm.
But why are you asking your husband about a court case? Did that court case happen 10 minutes ago?
Yeah, they haven't even gone to court yet. It's just a deposition. It's just a
Okay,
deposition.
but still, she came in the room and she's asking him about it. Why are you guys telling each other what you have for allowances?
So this is my theory. Okay, this is my theory. Tisha and Marceau, they have been faking scenes for a minute now. That's just their thing. They fake damn near everything. In the beginning, now this is something you may or may not know. I'm not sure. Melody actually had a conversation. I think I said this at the beginning, where she said that season 6B is very reminiscent of season 1. And in season 1, we got all of these like explosions. Every time you watch a show, it's like, whoa, like you couldn't believe what you were watching, what you were listening to. And that is because the producers were way more involved, and they were telling people like there was like a special episode where people started talking, where all the cast was talking about producing the scene or doing their scenes. We get a
Mm-hmm.
conversation from Kimmy, I believe, where she said they had a discussion collectively, the cast, and at the time it was the core six. The core six had a conversation where they said, we're not going to talk about Martell's infidelity. And Melody and Martell ended up talking about it on the show. They brought it to the show, and then the producers was like, oh my God, they're bringing this to the show. And they go to the rest of the cast and said, they're talking about it. So you gotta talk about it. We know this exists. And so the rest of the cast ended up sharing like their natural feelings and thoughts about things. And so for
Mhm.
the audience, we were like, Martell and Melody are going through something real, and everybody else is playing it off like, girl, like they don't seem like they're friends. And that's when we could see the fracture in things, but it was real TV. You know what I'm saying? It was real
Mhm.
that they felt this way. And I'll talk a little bit more about that later. But right now, what we are getting with Tisha and Marceau is a lot of fakety, fake stuff. Okay, but it looks like there's going to be a whole bunch of people around them that's going to give real TV, that's going to bring real stories to what's going on with them, because Melody is going to reveal some stuff about Marceau being sued. We know Kiki is going to reveal some stuff about these affairs that Tisha claimed has never happened in her marriage, and all of the scamming and fraud BS. It looks like Marceau and Tisha's own sister-in-law, Kimmy, is going to get that ball rolling with all kinds of crazy, accusations that she has said literally since last episode. She keeps bringing it up. Like, Marceau is talking about some money. I think she actually started it last season. So season 6A, she was like, Marceau keeps talking about this money, and what's the expenses? What is going on? So I think they're about to play Marceau and Tisha in the worst way. That's just me.
Mhm.
I like to break things. Y'all, I like to break things down. I'm so sorry.
And maybe that's why those two have a pact. Maybe that's why they have a pact, so that they don't have to go down that road,
They
or
have
as harshly down that road.
For sure. They have a pact because they're dealing with a whole bunch of bullshit and they know it. So they talk to each other before it happens. I think the last real scene we got from Tisha and Marceau was on Tisha's back porch when her mama came and said, Marceau brought Melody chocolate in bottle. Okay, whatever she said. But she said that thing about that chocolate in a bottle. And Tisha was sitting there and said, did you give Melody a bottle of wine? And Marceau said, and what if I did? And she snatched Marceau's chin so fucking hard, you would have thought his neck was about to break off. But he was like, Tisha, what are you doing? That shit was hilarious. But that, I feel like that may have been the last honest interaction that we have ever
Yeah.
between Tisha and Marceau. Everything else is staged.
Yeah, I would definitely say note to production. You gotta make these two a little bit more organic, because what they're doing right now is
It's
not.
sincere.
It's, oh my gosh, it's so insincere. And I got to be honest with you, I couldn't help but to laugh, because I was like, man, they're doing it well, and I don't know that they realize that the audience knows that that's what they're doing.
Oh, they
No
know.
one's fooled by it.
They know. Listen, nobody talks about Marceau and Tisha more than the internet, okay?
Woo.
It stays on fire so much so that Tisha's mama have to come on and do like damage control on her channel. So they absolutely know that
Yeah.
talked about all the time. But this scene in particular, it felt like the producer said, listen, people know about, everybody is talking. I shouldn't say people know, but everybody is talking about you guys scamming, about you guys being frauds, about multi-million dollar lawsuits, about affairs happening in back rooms at the cigar bar. So this is the conversation that is being had. It is going to be had by your castmates. So you guys need to find out how you want to talk about it. And that's how we get this scene. Tisha
Mm.
walks in with a damn green smoothie. How often have you had a green smoothie, child?
I had one just yesterday. I made one myself.
You made one yourself? Now, tell me, did you get a brain freeze from that green smoothie?
No,
Is it because you're not 3 years old?
that is correct.
Okay. Well, baby, this is where I was like, y'all faking it. Because Tisha brings in this damn green smoothie in the hot ass Alabama heat. So wherever she picked it up from, it would have melted down just a little bit. It ain't frozen by any means. Okay. By the time she makes it to the house that Marceau is working in, this is supposed to be the house they lived in. She moved into an apartment. We're gonna get into that in just a minute. But she moved into an apartment with the kids, and Marceau is supposed to be staying in this house, remodeling it. Okay, so these two are living apart. And that is why these scenes, on top of being fakety fake, 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 that's why they're like, oh, so what are you doing? Like it, but they're not good at it. Okay. Like I said, it's a Hoodie Perry movie. I know you're entertained. But for those of us who have been watching Tisha Marceau from the beginning and had sincere, honest interaction from them, it feels like y'all dropping the damn ball. But she comes in, she gives him the smoothie, and then she says, oh, babe, tell me about the court case. And he looks at her and goes, it wasn't a court case. It was a deposition. And it went good. It went good. Okay. And then we get from his confessional, he says something like, when you're in construction, anytime there's a lawsuit, basically suggesting he was the one who initiated the lawsuit, he said there's always a countersuit. Well, his lawsuit, I think, is for like I don't know, 180,000 maybe. Uh, the countersuit is for $5.4 million. That
Mm.
is outrageous. But they don't have any kind of conversation about how it makes them feel to have this lawsuit. So the show actually does a flashback to the reunion, y'all. A flashback to the reunion where Carlos King said, so what can you tell us about the lawsuit? And Marceau says, which is probably the most honest thing and all we're going to get from him. He says, it is embarrassing and hurtful to me to have this happen to me. That's
Okay,
it.
no, that's honest.
That was honest, right? But
That's an honest
it
statement. Yeah,
was
it's
from the reunion. They gave us a flashback from the reunion. That's how bad this freaking scene was. Child.
okay. Yeah, that's an honest statement. They need to make these two a little bit more I don't
Believable.
know. I honestly don't even care what they talk about at this point. Just don't do that. What they did in this scene was bad.
It was.
Don't do that. Don't
I
do that. It was hilarious, but don't do it.
Don't do it. It was horrible. It was horrible. And then they go into this damn fight about budgeting and spending. And it makes no sense to us because we don't know what this is about. Like you was talking about the deposition. How did you go from there? It would have been more natural if you said, listen, we got this $5 million lawsuit over our head. Thank God we was insured. Thank God we were bonded. Like say something about that as opposed to y'all pretending like y'all ballers shot callers now. Oh, when you gonna, honey? What's my budget for the furniture? Bitch, what? What are you talking about? I
Hmm.
I literally I was just sitting there thinking, Tisha Marceau, y'all got to do something else. Y'all got to figure this out. They went.
Well, now
Mhm.
that you make the point that it's a countersuit, that they're countersuit, I'm wondering if they up the ante to get him to drop the lawsuit so that
I
you know
mean,
what I mean? Like you're gonna sue me for 200,000, then I'm gonna sue you for a gazillion dollars because
yeah,
I just want you to drop the lawsuit altogether. Maybe that's the tactic that the other team is using.
perhaps. Right now, there is information out there about his deposition and
Hmm.
everything that you see regarding Marceau on screen, because he is very condescending, very patronizing, very much an a-hole. Uh,
Hmm.
it reads like that in the deposition. So he's not coming across well at all.
That's
But
not good.
not good at all. But what I can say is, it looks like the Zen Gardens, which is the apartment complex that he was, doing work for. He was supposed to build this building or apartment complex. Excuse me. Um, because Zen Garden didn't pay out, and
Mhm.
whoever Marceau owed, all of that. There, it's a combination of lawsuits. So it's Zen Gardens with a whole other group of people that has
Mhm.
their name to the lawsuit because they all want to get paid.
Mhm.
So we will have to see how this plays out. Do you know anything about how the insurance would work if Marceau was suing Zen Garden and Zen and it turns out that I'm just asking as a hypothetical. It turns out
Mhm.
the judge say, you know, this is not the case. You owe Marceau. Um, and Zengard is going to have to eat it. Would Marceau still have to pay the people behind them because it looks like this has been ongoing for a couple of years? You know what I'm saying? Like a year and some change.
When you say the people behind him, you mean that there's other people filing suit here?
Yeah, other
There's
people have.
multiple.
Yeah, because Zen Gardens didn't pay. They There's other people that didn't get paid. So people that maybe he had loans with, people who may had like contracts for the equipment needed to build the project, like stuff like that. It seems like everything has fallen in on this
Mm.
one particular thing. At least that's how he described it. He said that
Hmm.
he should have put a lien on the building so that
Hmm.
um, you know, he would have been guaranteed payment.
Yeah, guaranteed money to pay out that way. Yeah, it could
And,
just go back towards the loan.
and because that
Yeah,
didn't happen, all these other people have tacked their lawsuit onto the Zen case. That's what I think I heard anyway. I can't say because I really just can only listen to this in doses. It's just too much.
yeah. So they tacked on for guaranteed payment so that if he does win, that they get paid out
Yeah,
before
yeah.
he gets paid out.
Before
Yeah, that it goes to it goes to pay off the debtors first.
Yes. Okay,
Yeah,
so that's what I was curious about because I was like, he still won't get the money at the end of the day because even if he wins, it sounds like there's so many other people that is in line to be paid, and it sounds like it's all like he's the fall guy for all of it. So
yeah, it's a shame.
it's wild. Do you know if the insurance would pay all of it across the board or just that one thing if he was to lose?
Um, I'm surprised that the insurance hasn't already paid it. To be honest.
Oh wow.
I mean, unless because there's a lawsuit pending, they're waiting to see what the outcome is going to be
Uh-huh.
before they dive in. But if he owes payment to others, I mean, it should be a part of the.
It'll be a part of the claim.
Should have been, yeah.
Should have been a part of the claim. Okay. Anywho, Tisha and Marcel have this fake
At
exchange
least through the bond, it should have been, yeah.
through the bond. Okay. Okay. We'll talk more about this later and then I can bring it back to the audience. But Tisha and Marcel end up having this fake exchange about spending and money. And basically, Tisha's acting like, well, Marcel, you have a $5,000 spending budget, and I only have a $3,500 spending budget, which, by the way, is all things that your attorney would tell you never to discuss when you're
I
in
was a little shocked, yeah.
about money. Like these are things that you would never do. I don't care how small. So you can tell that they are having this fake
Yes.
conversation to I
And
don't
ill-advised, mind you,
ill
yeah.
advise. You should never talk about a lawsuit, anything, period.
Mm-mm.
Figure out a way to be more creative and make it about you and your personal things, but they didn't do that. They made it about money and how they got it, like they making it rain over there.
Well,
And
here's the part that didn't make the like this is as I was listening to it, I was trying to hang a lamp, and this is the part that I actually had to get off the ladder and go back and rewind.
what?
Is when he said, should we rent the furniture, like
Okay.
rent to own? And I was like, wait a minute, what? how 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 did I just hear that you get $8,500 a month as a family
As a family to
and
spend,
spending
guys.
money,
Yeah, I
right?
was gonna say
And the
this
way that they
girl,
made it sound was like it was recreational spending money. Like that's not even your household budget.
money.
That's recreational spending money.
You get 5,000, I get 3.5. I was
Right.
like, what?
That's why I was like, this is comical. Like I love it. I absolutely love it.
Yes, I'm telling you, Hoodie Perry, sign them up, get them on Tubi immediately. But
Yes.
yeah, they did that, and then at the end of it, for some reason, Tisha was supposed to apologize to Marcel for, I guess, insinuating that he doesn't take care of the family, and she's like, "Well, really, the only reason I was having this conversation is because I wanted to buy a new truck." And what does that
Yeah.
clown say?
He said, go ahead and do it.
He said, "Get what you want." Get,
Which was very
oh,
sweet of him, mind you. It was also very stupid of them to even have that conversation in general. Look, if this girl wants a car, just go and buy a car. Don't make that a part of the storyline. What are we doing?
okay. Well, you wrapped your car, so I don't. I think Marco's car was red before, and he may have wrapped it yellow, and it still has the red interior. I think that's what, if I remember it correctly. Maybe it was black red interior. And now he's wrapped it yellow. Either way, it's showy, it's obscene. Okay. It's too much. But you guys live in this tiny ass house. You are renting an apartment while you redo the tiny ass house. And then you have a forever home that you're building. And now you're still spending outrageous amounts of money on purses because Marceau had to make this comment about how much did your purse cost? And she was like, that's none of your business, sir. I would never tell. Girl, you guys are basically asking to lose this lawsuit. They are right up there with Sheree. Okay, when Sheree went to court to sue for child support from her ex-husband Bob Whitfield, and Phaedra said, "Don't show up here in that Ashton Martin. Don't be wearing that Chanel or none of that shit." The judge looks out the window to see what y'all look like, and they make decisions based on that. And when I
Oh,
say
wow.
was Sheree walked out of there lose, 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 and that's not even the worst of it. The lawyer who she did not pay because she couldn't even pay the attorney fees repossessed the Ashton Martin. He came and picked it up as payment.
Hmm.
That car that Marceau wrapped, somebody gonna be picking that one up for payment. Okay,
Listen,
my opinion.
it's opinion because I've got to be honest with you. These two are so fake. I don't know that we even know what's going on in their lives.
We don't.
Outside of the fact that this lawsuit is a public thing,
Right.
we have no clue what's going on with those two, and they're never going to tell us, which is why I'm really here for it. They're amazing. They're an anomaly.
They can lose the case and they still is never going to tell us. They're going to sit in front of that camera and smile at each other and smile at the camera and never say a thing. That's
Yep.
just who they are as
Yeah,
people.
I think they need to rethink their strategy, though.
Yeah, you ain't lying. Okay. Let's talk about Tiffany and Stormy. That was the next scene up.
Mm.
Tiffany just had a baby, little baby Ace, and not everybody has had a chance to see him yet. So she is going to do a reveal party for all
Mhm.
of the friends and family who would like to see the baby, right? And
Mhm.
she meets up with Stormy so they can discuss the ins and outs of the party. And then, some other things. They have some girl talk. But this scene is priceless because they're talking to the party planner who is letting her know, like, wherever she has it. She's like, Tiffany said, this place is so beautiful. It doesn't even need baby decorations. She was like, it's beautiful. They make these amazing waffles. She's super excited about doing something, in the aftermath of childbirth and all that stuff and getting everybody to see the baby. And the lady they're talking to, this person that Tiffany has hired, she is just being, she's giving all the selling points. She said, we're going to call it Breakfast at Tiffany's, and we're going to have this waffle station and all of the
Mhm.
fun stuff. And she's talking about where the balloons are going to go and all this stuff, child. She was advertising the hell out of her business for it to be a complete and total flop at the end of the episode. You saw what happened, right?
I saw it. That woman was pissed.
She was giving so much attitude. I was like, you failed her. Why are you the one with the attitude? You failed. But anyway,
Yeah,
oh,
she was pretty mad. I was like, "Oh no, that's not good."
have free advertising. You could have put in a great portfolio. You let this moment on national TV fail, girl.
Yeah.
Like her, whoever this woman is, don't do that. That was embarrassing. However, let's get back to Tiffany and Storm.
Although the show didn't have to play it that way either. So
What the camera said, I literally said that camera crew showed up with the producers and they said, "Time is money. We don't care that you
yeah,
did.
clearly.
It's going to be a part of the reality."
Yeah, well, that's why she was mad. But
She was, she was pissed.
yeah,
Was
yeah.
pissed. But anyway, Stormy and Tiffany, let's talk a little bit about them. They end up sitting down. They start rehashing what happened at the meeting, the last meeting. Okay. Stormy and Tisha had a bit of a blowout about the Black Expo. Tisha said, I don't like the way you talk to my man. Okay. I don't like how you talk to my man. And Stormy said, you don't tell me how to talk to any goddamn body. Okay. I will speak how I want to speak. You don't check me, boo. Check your husband. And then she ended up saying in the scene that Marceau, she said, I don't like Marceau. She said, me and Tisha, we may resolve our differences because truly it's not that big of a deal. But I don't like Marceau because I don't deal with dudes who act like bitches. And then she said that Marceau thinks he knows everything. And she said, right now it's just a turn off for her. So Stormy has again questioned Marceau's manhood. Her husband did it in the
Yeah.
last episode. That is why they call this one so ladylike. Okay. And then she ends up talking to Tiffany about Kiki. I almost messed that name up. She starts talking to Tiffany about Kiki. She was like, "Yeah, is she invited?" She said, "Yeah, it's about the baby. It has nothing to do about her and I." And she was like, "But yeah, y'all don't get along though. Like, you think there's gonna be some drama?" She was like, "There better not be." She said, "As long as she doesn't steal, child, any locks."
That was ridiculous. Yeah, I don't.
I
Whew,
said,
that was.
Tiffany is trying to make her money, but she better put something aside for her hospital visit because I'm not kidding. She's gonna get a butt whooping if she keeps this shit up.
Yeah,
So
yeah, I don't get that. You're either going to invite her and you want her to be there, or you don't. There was no need to. There was no need to go. I invited her, but I'm going to slide her too. There's no need for that.
I invited her, but I'm gonna slide her. And then she
Yeah.
said, after all that, she was like, "Did you see the tape?" And gave again just more detail. She was like, she was trying to escape the parking lot and damn near hit two cars. And then she said, this was the worst. She said, loss prevention stopped her and asked, "Please give us everything you got." And she said, and she still had to leave with something. She gave him one thing and still had to leave with something. And I was like, "Tiffany, you're not saying allegedly or anything in front of this." She's just like, "Yeah." And then she said, "I don't know anybody who's been on Crime Stoppers." Like, she's so above and beyond anything after literally just sharing with us, not even 2 seasons ago, that both of her adoptive parents and her biological parents were on hardcore drugs, street drugs. Like,
Yeah, that didn't make sense.
out
Right.
doing this, like, show some grace. Um,
Right.
but she did not. You would think that she would have more grace for Kiki if she did believe that she had fell off the wagon because of her own parent situation.
Right. Yeah.
It's bad. I don't like it. I don't like
Yeah.
coming this,
Yeah. Yeah. It's.
especially since she is in a really good place with her parents. She knows that her parents have cleaned up. I don't know what this is. It doesn't feel natural. There feels like there's something else going on, and I hope that that gets revealed because right now, the beef. And I'll say this too. Let me say this too. Absolutely every scene that Tiffany has ever done on this show has always felt over the top, like too much energy, just too anxious, like a little, like a toddler. Oh, let me do, always like
Mhm.
hyper.
Mhm.
Scene, she was just so relaxed and casual, and how she was saying things. I was like, wait a minute, what is going on here? All the way to
Mm.
the very end, like she was just like, yeah, I don't do that. I was like, why are you doing this? Why are you doing this? You know that you're no I don't think you're a match for Kiki, but I don't know. I don't know why she keeps pushing this button. Then she goes from that to Stormy talking to her about how's baby Ace. How are you doing with motherhood? It's been like 15, 16 years since you've been a new mommy. And that's when she made it sound like her and Lewis might be separated.
Mm.
Did you feel that way?
I didn't really know what to feel with this scene. I've got to be honest with you. This was the scene that I thought dragged a little bit for me.
Okay. It dragged because you can tell for me, I'll say this. I don't know why it dragged for you, but it dragged for me because I thought like it felt like Stormy was trying to push Tiffany to be emotional, and Tiffany was not being emotional. In fact, Tiffany was being the very opposite of who she's shown up as on this show. She was just like, "What's going on?" And she was like, "Baby, when I tell you I'm overwhelmed with work, I'm trying to get back in the groove of that. I'm overwhelmed with being a new mommy. That baby needs me every second of the day. I am overwhelmed with being a mom to my oldest two, the 15 and the 16-year-old. They looking for cars and they're
Mhm.
asking me for help with their sports, and I need equipment here. Can you drive this place?" And then she said, "Then my husband isn't even here. He is with A&M doing the football stuff, and he's not at home." And it's like he doesn't care that he's not at home. Um,
Mhm.
said she's getting like bombarded with phone calls from family and friends. She said, I'm tired. I'm exhausted. I'm overwhelmed. And her eyes start like getting red before tears fell out, but she wouldn't let those tears out. She said, I know that's what I asked for. And I was like, damn, Tiffany. I thought Tiffany gave the most real scene that we've ever seen out of her. That was probably the realest statement that I think we've ever seen out of Tiffany, where she was just at ease in communicating herself, like her personal journey.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't like Stormy's interaction with her, though. I thought Stormy was trying to get her to be like crying and all that stuff, and she was like, "I don't have it in me to even cry. I don't know how to cry about it. Like, it is what it is at this point."
Yeah, because I think you have two different personalities there. I think Stormy can be a little bit more sensitive to those types of things. So I think
Really,
Stormy was like, man, if I were you, I would be bawling. Why aren't you bawling? Why aren't you bawling right now?
you don't know Stormy well enough. I'm
No.
I don't know Stormy. Stormy is really sensitive. I'm not going to say that. Stormy is sensitive. She's super sensitive. I do believe that. I believe she's super sensitive. She initially came across as real hardcore. I can walk on glass. I can walk on hot coals. But she is super sensitive. So I will say that. But I do think that she was trying to just get Tiffany to, it felt like she was trying to get Tiffany to cry. And when Tiffany didn't cry, she was like, well, damn, I'm going to cry. And she
Mm-hmm.
crying, and Tiffany got up and hugged her and said, I appreciate you even asking me the question, because it almost felt like nobody cares. What did you think? Did you feel that? No. And when I
No.
say nobody, I mean Lou. I mean Big Lou.
No.
Where you at?
I don't know. I mean, this Big Lou character. I'm sure he'll be in the next episode, so I'm not too concerned about it.
Yo, you're like,
I
I'm not giving Lewis anything.
Well, I mean, I just think, Lewis is one of those people that, he'll be there when he's there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we're gonna get a scene from Lou and Tiffany, where they're both kind of crying, and it feels like he's like, I don't know. I hope they don't break up on the show, but that scene, now that I've heard her say that, it almost feel, if I'm foreshadowing, it feels like he's saying that it's not working out.
No. Nah.
He has a new baby.
Right. Yeah, he's not going anywhere.
Okay, okay, good. I'm glad
I think he's there for it. I just don't think he's there for,
those early
for
years.
being on the show for too much. I think some of those guys are just like, I'll step in when I really need to step in, but otherwise I'm not going to be present.
Okay, okay, we're gonna see. We're gonna see. Okay, let's talk the Fletchers and the Scotts.
This was my second favorite scene.
This was your second favorite scene. Okay.
Yes,
Really loved the Fletchers in this episode.
me too.
The Fletchers in this episode. I didn't know what we were missing. We're missing two things. We were missing a couple that was more empathetic to Melody and what she was going through as a divorce after 12 years of marriage, divorce, being a single mother, all of that stuff. The Fletchers definitely had more empathy, and we needed to see more of it because she didn't get it from her other castmates. They were definitely giving her "you get what you deserve" type of shit, and we were all like, "Well, what does she deserve? Like, where is this coming from?" Like, there's always a secondary story that is going on the show that we just don't get. But the Fletchers came in. They are a breath of fresh air. They are seasoned. They've been together for a long time. They've had some low points that they have worked on and worked through, and nobody is going to shame them or embarrass them about it. Furthermore, they are wealthy. Okay. Wealthy. Like, I can pass this on to my grandchildren and my great grandchildren type of wealthy. So good for them. You know what I'm saying? And then they're sitting in front of Tisha and Marceau's fakety fake, brokety broke ass. And yeah, what else did you like about it? That's what I liked about it.
I love the fact that Marceau was so comical. I don't know that was the vibe he was trying to go for.
When you say comical, you mean
He
condescending.
was hilarious.
Okay, all of
I
them.
couldn't stop laughing. I was like, this fool, when he told her that she was pretty, and then the husband said, you know, I told you that my wife owned a daycare center. First and foremost, there's no way in hell that you were friends with these two. Are they friends?
Well, this is the thing. They came. The Fletchers came on as Melody and Martell's friend, and when
Okay.
Martell and Melody divorced, they didn't show the Fletchers very much because they were like, I think they call it friendship counselors or couple counselors. So
Oh
they
Lord.
talk to each other about their problems. When
I
Melody
see.
and Martell divorced, I guess the show didn't think there was a need for the Fletchers anymore, or maybe they didn't want to be a part of the show anymore. I'm not sure how
Hmm.
it worked. But they ended up only showing mostly Chris. So Chris came on in the capacity that he would hang out with Martell every once in a while. We got a
Okay.
scene between him and Marceau because Marceau and him were supposed to have met for like 15 minutes or something in
Right.
Atlanta when Marceau had been accused of cheating. And then there was this picture of a person that had the exact shape, head, back, everything of Marceau. Somebody claimed that they had an affair and this was them. And Marceau told his wife, who was crying, and was that you in the picture? He said, no. He said, Tisha, I was with Chris Fletcher that day. And so everybody was like, oh, okay, alibi. Well, Chris Fletcher got a hold of that information. He said, I met that Negro on my way to the airport.
Oh no.
Said, I saw him for 15 minutes and I was on my way to New York. He said, I wasn't with Marcel that whole night. He ain't gonna put that on me. Okay. He said he
Right.
through his challenges in his marriage and he's not there. He's not in that place and he will never do it again. Child, I hollered. Okay, because Tisha was sitting there, Marcel acting like he was crying. Tisha had snot coming out of her nose. Again, it was to be official. To be official. These two really could be a Hoodie Perry movie for real. But
Right. I
it.
mean, that part probably for Tisha was probably real.
You think so?
Oh
Have,
gosh.
oh,
If
okay.
if if she's got snot coming out of her nose, that sounds pretty real. That's pretty hard to do. Um, but I really feel that, relationships are extremely important to Tisha, and she takes hers very seriously. Marceau clearly does not. And so I would believe that if she has to talk about infidelity or anything to do with marriage,
Okay.
um, that's pretty important to her. And then I thought I heard somebody say, I forget that girl's name, but I thought I heard somebody say that Tisha does not take infidelity lightly, even if she like knows other people that are
Mm.
being unfaithful in their relationship. She's not a fan of it. So
It was said. I'll leave it there. Somebody did say
okay,
exactly what you said. You heard it right. Um,
okay,
but yeah, Tisha from the very beginning, first episode, season one, has always made Marceau her everything. Like she was down here, and Marceau was the cream de la creme. Every single episode, every single season, she was fighting for rights just to go outside to the mailbox. Okay, like
Mhm.
I want to work. I want to do this. I want to do that. Somewhere along the way around season four, I think they switched it up and made it seem like Tisha was this liberated businesswoman. But it is taking a long time for the audience to catch up because we don't know how they got there. But outside of that, they have still been plagued with rumors about cheating and all types of stuff. And Tisha has always maintained that it has never happened to her, which would makes the scene so damn interesting. Okay. So let's just talk a little bit more about it. Chris and Nell end up meeting Tisha and Marcel. They said it was a double date, but Chris and Nell wanted to show up because they had some questions to ask about the Black Expo and why they weren't invited. They said they've been in Huntsville forever. Married couple in business, entrepreneur for 29 years. Chris said that he has been doing real estate and he's been a broker. His wife owns her own daycare, both of them successful, and they got a pretty coin. And Marceau definitely knows who Chris is because, like I said, not even 2 seasons ago, he was in Atlanta with them, right?
Mhm.
And he's on the show. He's a part of the cast. So when you went through the list of
Yeah.
people to invite, You're giving me Sheree right now. Like when Sheree told Nene she's not on the guest list. You're giving me Sheree because you already know who to invite. If nobody else comes, everybody on the cast gets an invite. But Marceau snubbed him on purpose. He snubbed him, and the only reason I can think of is because Chris and Nell are doing better things than they are. They don't like to live in people's shadow. Chris and Neil was probably the only couple that would have been able to sit on that stage and look like they had all of their shit together. Let's face it.
Hmm.
Okay. Their kids
Yeah.
are grown. They are a solid couple right now. So
Yeah.
Tisha and Marceau played him, and that's where we got all of that crazy conversation that Marceau was having. Oh, I didn't know what you do. Oh, I didn't even know. I thought you would just look pretty and was Fletcher's wife. How ugly is that?
It's disrespectful is what it is.
Disrespectful. So Tisha,
Yeah.
in no way, there's no way Tisha could say that Marceau respects her if that's what he would say to another man and woman.
Oh,
Right?
absolutely. I mean, he came across extremely misogynistic in this particular scene. Unbelievably so.
Yeah.
I mean,
And he wanted
he
to.
ins-
He wanted
and he
to.
right, he wanted to, right? He insults her. He insults I'm
Chris.
sorry, what is that woman's name? Nail?
Mm-hmm.
He insults Nail. And by default you also insult the husband because
By default. You definitely
right?
like if he would have splashed some water in your bitch ass face, it would have been warranted.
Right. I mean, Tisha asked the question about infidelity. He shut it down and fine. You don't want people
Hold on.
talking about it.
Before we get to that,
That's
let's get to the other part of this and potatoes.
what.
He says, I didn't know you guys, I didn't know what you guys do. Like he doesn't know that these people are successful. Chris said, listen, we were the original Black Power couple. Like our name in Huntsville is like Joe Biden's name in Washington, D.C. Basically. He was like,
Mm,
try to play me. And then he ends up saying, Nell ends up saying, well, why weren't we invited kind of thing. Then they changed it from we didn't know or we forgot. Nell said, you a damn lie. I don't believe you. I don't believe that you forgot. You
right.
literally saw us at the birthday party for Melody's baby.
Hmm.
We had this conversation. You said you were guaranteed to invite us out. You didn't do it. I don't believe you forgot. And then they changed the story up, Tisha and Marceau, to, well, you guys really are Melody's friends, and we don't want to step on your toes. We didn't know. We didn't want to. We don't know how far we can go with this. And that's when Nell says in confessional, y'all still hang out with Martell. So that's bullshit. If
Right.
that was the case, you wouldn't hang out with Martell either. And then we find out later, even though this has been online, we've seen pictures of the Fletchers at the cigar bar. So they've definitely interacted outside of the Atlanta trip and other things because they were in Atlanta more than once because Martell had that wine event in Atlanta and Chris was there, I believe. So anyway, at the end of the day, the Fletchers was poking all kinds of holes in their story. And then they started talking about the speakers at the Black Expo. And Nell said, listen, I heard that you guys weren't willing to pay anybody. And that struck a nerve with Marceau, who immediately takes it back to the Holtz uh,
Hmm.
when they were married. Like, well, the Holtz don't have a business, so they're not doing anything, at least that we can see, outside of selling T-shirts. And I don't know how her talking about or referring to Melody talking about T-shirts would benefit the community. Now, Chris stopped them in their track and said, I'm not even going to let you talk about the Holtz like that. When they were married, they had a viable and profitable business, okay? And
Hmm.
it was doing well. And you were even a partner in a business with them. And Marceau fixed his mouth to say, well, where is it now?
Yeah, but it dissolved because the relationship dissolved, not because it failed as a business.
Because it failed as a business. And that's when Nell drops her hand and said, Marceau, because she realizes, Chris and Nell realize at this moment that he's using them to say, horrible things on camera. He's using them
Mm-hmm.
to say horrible things on camera and making it seem like they're a part of it. And they just
Mhm.
quietly, like, okay. And at this is when I said I respect everything that Nell went back and told Melody, because he wanted her to.
Right.
He wanted her to tell her, you're going to use me in this moment to be awful and to say horrible things over my friend, then I'm definitely going to tell my friend. It is what it is. But yeah, they went through all of that rigmarole. And then, child, that's when Tisha went right to season one. And if I don't know if you remember season one, Melody and Martell had an anniversary dinner that the Scotts threw for them. They took them to this restaurant, and on their anniversary, at the table at their anniversary dinner, Tisha said, "So, I know that you guys had to deal with infidelity in your marriage, and you've gotten over it." And she says it with the biggest smile on her face, like, my goal is to be a shit starter here." And she said,
Mm.
"Can you tell me what you guys did to get over it?" And Martell looked like he wanted to spit in Tisha's face.
Mm.
Melody just jumped right in and was like, it's not something you get over easy. She did her explanation, but that's when Tisha did the same thing to the Fletchers. You guys have been married for whatever, 29 years. Have you had experienced infidelity in your marriage? Baby, what? Crazy. And then they were open. Chris was like, of course, like we've had those, problems. And then Marceau puts the kibosh on it. He was like, Tisha, no, 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 no. No, we're not going to have this conversation here. This is disrespectful. I know if they would have asked us this question, I would have found it disrespectful.
Mhm.
Right?
Yeah,
In
I
confession,
get it.
Nell said, I don't know what this was about. Chris said, it sounded like a cry for help. She went, well, I took it as a jab at first, but maybe Tisha was looking to have a one-on-one with me about some shit with Marceau. Because right now it felt like, to me, Nell is saying, we all know there's rumors out there about Marceau. Clearly, there's rumors. If you guys
Mhm.
are incorporating what y'all hear and see on the internet with everything else, then Nell's like, okay, girl, what you want to know? What you trying to ask? That's what I got. But
Mhm.
that's what she felt was going on with Tisha, and that's pretty much how the scene ends. Did you have any comments or things that you wanted to share about this particular scene?
I thought the entire thing was super comical. I think the comedy started for me when they actually said, "Oh, well, this is typically our date night, but we're just going to meet the Fletchers instead." And I thought, there's no date night. You guys haven't seen each other in years, clearly, from the last scene.
You're talking
So,
about, you're talking about Tisha and Marceau.
yes,
So
that was
you're saying
that
that
was
the
laugh
last time
number
they had
one.
a date night was season 4.
Right.
Exactly.
So I was like, first and foremost, these scenes aren't matching up. This is the same episode. You clearly hadn't seen each other in I don't know, who knows, a fortnight in the last scene.
Right.
But now, oh, now we're just going back to our regular routine of a date night. I was like, there's no date night here. You two are clearly separated.
Yep. Yep.
You're meeting the Fletchers because the Fletchers asked you to meet them, not because this is also a date night.
That's right. I agree with you 100%. You put the date night on it to give the scene a little more extra, but the truth of the matter is, Tisha and Marcel don't do no damn date nights.
Yeah, that was crazy. The
Yeah,
second thing was, the whole insults that he was doing back and forth with the Fletchers, insulting their entire
everything.
career and life. Yes. The third one was when he insulted the Holts because they don't have a business anymore, but that
Right.
was stupid.
Right.
And then that next one would be when he shut Tisha down from asking the question.
Right.
And I would have to say that I don't know if it was a cry for help. I do think it was a matter of interest. Like I said, I think those two have a pact. So I don't know that Tisha's crying for help at this point. I think Tisha's fully aware of what their situation is, and she's trying to figure out a way to work through it. But regardless, they're
Yep.
in this, through thick and thin.
Well
And
said.
those two have a pact with each other. Even if they are truly separated, they are never going to let the world know it.
They're not going to confirm it to the world.
Nope.
You're
They're
right.
not going to confirm it to the world.
I agree.
I mean, we can all speculate, but they're never going to say that this is truly what's going on in their, and maybe they shouldn't, who knows. But,
Right.
I
Even if
thought
they
it was kind
filed
of
for
funny
divorce,
because
even if they filed for a divorce, it would say irreconcilable difference. Like it would never say infidelity.
no,
They just
I
want to give the audience the pleasure of thinking X, Y, and Z. I totally
listen again. Those two, they are doing the most in these scenes, and
the
it's
most. They even said some mess. Left this part out, but they said some mess about if they were going to pay anyone to be a speaker, it would only be Maurice and Stormy. They were the only one that were tried and true in business. And again, it points out the reason why they didn't want the Fletchers to be a part of the expo, because they would have had more experience than everybody at that damn counter. Okay.
right. Oh, and when he said that he felt that that they should have gotten paid from the people that were that were there as guests, or not as guests, but I don't know if they were just there as vendors, or if they were there as speakers, or how, or whatever it was. But
Uh-huh.
he actually felt that, oh, we should have just, did he say we should have charged them, or they should be paying us?
They
We're
should be
not paying them.
They should be paying us to be a part of it. Is how he said it. 'Cause he was,
Yeah.
you know, I don't know what. Oh, she has a t-shirt business, and then Chris says off camera, he was like, "Y'all sell t-shirts like Marcel. You literally have a black t-shirt or sweatshirt or hat on every scene, damn near, and you have since you built the place. So what is going on? Why are you being so condescending? He has a lot." He has a lot. He needs therapy. Listen, where is the therapist? What was his name? I forgot his name, but they need to bring him back. Dr. Francis. Dr. Francis was amazing. Ugh, I hate that he's gone. But anywho, we're gonna wrap up this scene. Let's get to the last one, okay? The next scene is the sip and see. Not much happened with these girls. Listen, Tiffany arrives to her sip and see. I'm sure she paid good money to have this baby shower, or excuse me, baby reveal at this place. She said it was beautiful, even without decoration. So I hope she meant it, because when she walked in, there was not a balloon up or anything else put on the table, not nothing. The lady who was cooking those waffles was like, listen, I was here doing my damn job, okay? There's 1,800 waffles on this table. There's 1,800 waffles on this table. You see me hard at work. Now, those bitches, I don't know anything about, okay? Oh, God, I can breathe.
That's true. Yeah.
They just put the
Yeah.
waffles like,
She was literally My Name Has Been at Night in it. Yeah, I saw it. I saw her I saw her face.
it was funny.
Oh, that was hilarious.
And she looked around. She went, what? Um, wow. When do you think you're going to get this ready? She went, the waffles smell amazing. That lady was like, don't bring up these waffles yet. You have no idea what these bitches have been saying the entire time before you showed up. You could tell people were cursing. But Jennifer was like, yeah, we're getting all this on camera. We don't care if it ain't ready. People are walking in the door. It is what it is. So
Hmm.
said, is there anything I can do? And that lady was so nasty. You can stand there and look pretty. I was like, bitch, what? Why would you say that? I wanted to cry, but Tiffany is so overwhelmed and upset with stuff that she really just got to suppress everything. You can tell that she was just like, okay. Um, she went over and put on the gloves, on the pink gloves, to start helping.
Right.
They didn't have anything built. You can tell they didn't have anything planned for the night before. She finally says, and it was like she was almost like afraid to say it, like, no, really, what happened? Why isn't this done? Because there was a
Hmm.
storm and we had to be strategic. Strategic.
Right.
You
Was it going to happen outside? What does that mean?
I don't know. She said we had to be strategic about how we got these things into the car. And I went, your strategy should have been around when you got like to the place, not when you get the things into the car. Like, what are you talking about? But anyway, the lady clearly blew her bag. Then people start walking in one at a time. Stormy was next. Stormy also was giving eyeballs and making faces like, huh, what's going on here? How do you want me to help? Like the way she put them gloves on, was looking at that lady, you could tell that that lady was getting all kinds of fire. Then we had Kimmy come in. Kimmy did the same exact thing. Like, I know I'm not early. Like, what is happening here? Nothing is prepared. There's no food on tables. What is going on? And then in confessional, Kimmy had the nerve to say, it couldn't be me. And the first thing I said was, but bitch, it is you. That's your house. Like, you are constantly being snubbed by things. But I guess she felt like if she had paid someone to do it, because she literally said, um, she couldn't be she couldn't be Tiffany. Like, oh yeah, that would I would never do what Tiffany's doing. But I guess she's okay with it. You don't know what conversation Tiffany had before you got there. And how dare you with all the stuff that your man be doing, and you don't say a thing. Okay,
Oh, I think Tiffany's probably going to be taking some percentages off of that bill.
for sure. I think
Yeah.
Tiffany was just like so overwhelmed by everything. You can't even get mad at that point. It's like a waste of damn energy. She has to be okay so that when she's holding her baby and walking them around so people can see them, she's okay for her baby. She can't get all upset and emotional. Anyway, she was wrong for saying it. I didn't like the way she put that out there. But
Mm.
Melody was the last to walk in the door of these four ladies. And when Melody came in, she said hello and hugged Tiffany and Kimmy. And then she says, hello, Stormy, very audible, very loudly. Okay. I can't even say audible, but she says it because you may or may not remember this, but there was a scene about, I think in season 4, where she walks into Destiny's establishment and said, hey, Destiny. Destiny said she didn't hear her. And Destiny lost her damn mind. Like it was a full blown out crazy scene. And until this very day, Destiny said, I never heard it and she deserved everything that I gave her. But she said, I said hello to Stormy, but Stormy starts rummaging through her purse like she's looking for something. And the
Mhm.
best part of this scene is that Melody didn't give it anything outside of that. She didn't say, hey, Stormy again. She didn't say, girl, you heard me. And the other two ladies didn't acknowledge it either. They left it exactly where it was. It was someone looking for a moment and nobody gave her one.
Yeah, it was a little childish, but
Childish, especially
yeah.
it's sipping or reveal party. Wasn't she the one who said it's a reveal party? What's going to happen? And people need to know how to control themselves in the last episode when she was talking about Kiki and Tisha. She was making it seem like I don't do anything. She said something like I don't initiate stuff. I respond
Oh, right, right, right. Yeah,
stuff, and
yeah,
someone saying hello, and she's doing the very opposite. But like I said,
yeah. She
nobody.
can be cordial.
Yeah, nobody gave it any more attention than what happened. Like it happened. Melody said she can do it. It's okay. Especially since, not even 2 minutes later, they have a conversation about the Black Expo and things that may have gone wrong.
I know.
And that heifer starts talking. I'm talking
Weirdo.
about, and he didn't do. I'm like,
That's what I said. I was like, wait, now you're going to answer the question about Marceau being Marceau, but you couldn't say hello 10 seconds ago? Yeah, that didn't make any sense.
right. So this was Kimmy's opportunity to once again imply that Marcel may be doing something dirty with the money. Okay. She said,
With
listen,
what money?
uh,
Oh, the
apparently
vendor money?
the vendor money, that he collected this vendor money saying that they had accrued all these additional fees because more bodies were there. And she was like, the building was already paid for. Everything that you saw in that building when y'all said that's what y'all could give was already paid for. So anything that you collected after was something else. You're not being honest about it. And Kimmy brings that up in the scene. So again, she is calling her brother-in-law out as a scammer. And that's how this wraps up. Okay, they have some small talk in their own little corners. That's not really worth talking about. And then we get the scene between Melody and Nell Fletcher. Melody and Nell, hold on. Where's my picture? Here we go. Melody and Nell have a little sidebar where Nell says, I had lunch with the Fletchers. We had lunch with the Fletchers and your name came up.
No, we
Basically,
had lunch with the.
oh, excuse me, lunch with the Scots. Lunch with the Scotts, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, thank you for correcting me, because I get these names tied up all the time. But Lunch with the Scotts, and your name came up, and there was a lot of mud and shade thrown your way, and I wanted to tell you about it. And she proceeds to tell her. Mel said, "Well, how did my name get it? Why is my name being brought up at this table between y'all in the first place?" And she said,
Mm-hmm.
"We're talking about the Black Expo, and we were talking about paying money for speaking fees." And Marceau took that opportunity to say he was not going to pay you for a t-shirt for to tell the community about a t-shirt business. And she was like, "A what?" And she went on and on and on. And she said, "Listen, at the end of the day, uh, if this is how he wants to play it with this kind of shade, how about I didn't want to be on stage with a man who's being accused of fraud and in a lawsuit where they are trying to take them for 5 point something million dollars? How about that? Then let's also talk about the fact that he acts like I'm not successful, and yet he is here getting checks in his pocket because of the dream I had for myself. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
The dream I dreamt for myself, he's taken full advantage of. And I've put plenty of checks into Scott 1.0's pockets because of it. She said the man has no respect, that he is a low down, dirty, pathetic, no good dog. And she put a whole bunch of curse words in it too. Melody cursed so much. Melody cursed so much. It literally was like, oh my God, she could have definitely been talking to Martell and it would have been just as, easy breezy. Okay. She was just letting him have it. And the entire time, Nell was sitting there making faces like, whoo, child, and did. Okay. Just making sure that she knew you and I are cool. I am telling you what that lunatic said. And Melody said, well, he gonna hear it from me. Okay. That's basically how the scene ends, child. Did you see anything that I left out of that conversation?
No, I thought it was pretty funny. But I mean, Melody was spot on with everything that she said. She was 100% correct. He basically, just as he does, he just doesn't feel that women can be successful or do anything. So
Nope. Again, just showing point proof positive. If you can't respect any other woman for getting it done, for being out here getting it done, doing what they need to do to take care of their family and their children, you damn sure don't respect your own wife. There's no way you can. You don't respect your wife and you don't respect your daughters. Period.
exactly, exactly, which is really sad because
You
what
don't
are you
respect
raising?
your mama either. Okay. You don't
No,
respect anybody that was born female. Okay. You don't.
right?
That's But anyway, that is pretty much it. That wraps it up, child. We would have been on for an hour and some minutes, which is it's just good. I said it was it was gonna be a long one because there was so much to talk about, but I enjoyed having you.
Thanks for having me.
And I hope you come back.
Okay, I probably will.
Okay, child. But that is pretty much it, y'all. Y'all tell me what y'all think about everything in the comments. Also, let me know if y'all would like to do a panel. I am open to do a panel, and maybe there's some things that my sister and I miss, and we'd love to chit chat with you about it. In the meantime, in between time, hit that like, hit the notification bell, and what else do you need to hit? Hit everything.
Subscribe.
Subscribe, right? Thank you, child. Hit the subscribe button, share the video. I will talk to you all on the next one. Bye bye.
Bye.